everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mike.
Also Mike.
And we're here with a Q&A to celebrate our shop's 10th anniversary. And I cannot believe it's been 10 years.
It's been 100 years.
It's been 1,000 years. We are ancient, both of us. Me, a little bit more so. But we're so excited to celebrate 10 whole years as an entity, a business, a place of commerce and music making. And I genuinely can't believe that it has become what it has become. Just incredible. Mike, are you happy about? Are you excited about the state of the shop?
You were doing so well that I just figured to just kind of let you.
I need your support.
You know, the emotion was flowing. We were good. Yeah, I can't fathom from literally one guitar to this in 10 years. All the wonderful people we get to work with, all the people that are part of this endeavor. Can't say enough good things about it.
On Instagram, we asked all of you fine folks out there to throw some questions our way, and we're gonna get to them right now. The first one comes from David Dossett. David asks, how and why did you get into the business in the first place? What keeps you interested / going? I suppose we should recount the formation, the early days of Mike and Mike's Guitar Bar.
Yeah, well, I had been on tour, and we were both working at a shop together. We thought we could build a better mousetrap.
Yeah.
For lack of a better,
a little less on the trap, something kinder. A mouse bed and breakfast.
Airbnb. Yeah.
You see, Mike and I always had a passion for finding interesting and cool instruments, and that just kind of naturally led to opening our own shop entity. And we started with one guitar, I think.
We each put in $600.
That's right.
And we found Craigslist ad for a Gibson Dove. And
oh, I remember that thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we went down and negotiated with that lovely couple, and it was just a mess, and it needed a reset.
It needed so much work.
And then it was like the conundrum of starting a company. You're like, we're a guitar restoration place. We're gonna fix this guitar. And I'm like, Michael, we have no money. We need to sell this guitar as quickly as possible so that we can each recoup our $600.
Capital.
And with the profit, we bought a 1983 Fullerton 57P bass.
Oh yeah!
That's our startup capital.
That was how
right
we
there.
started. Yeah, in those early days, we were grabbing a lot of stuff from wherever we could find it. We had friends that were selling things. We knew some touring bands that were constantly moving gear.
Do you remember the 330?
What color was it?
Sunburst. You found a 1959 ES330 for $1,000.
I don't remember this.
Yeah, yeah, this was it was the first thing we ever put on reverb. It was everything but the amber switch tip, and I remember the guy that owned, still does, OK Guitars. He bought it. Like the ES335.org guy.
Yeah,
jumped on that one.
I love that guy. If you've never been to ES335.org, you need to check it out. We toiled away in your basement for 5 more years. Mike's basement was like, what, generously like 500 square feet?
400 square feet, 4 people, 160 guitars, 40 amps, shipping station.
Guitar repairs.
Yeah.
600 or 700 Fender Rhodes pianos.
Yeah, we were doing, oh my God.
So many Rhodes. We were going all over the place. To hell and back, putting Rhodes in the back of my Ford Focus that I was driving at the time. So in 2017, this space became a reality.
We needed a place where people could actually come that was more of a traditional retail environment. We were already having people kind of coming from all over the country and sometimes all over the world that would just knock on the garage door and say, hey, is this where I'm supposed to be? So actual signage, a showroom.
The garage door was charming. People would knock on it and we would go and just lift it up over our heads and welcome to the shop. But this is much better. It's much better having a real door and a place that you can walk into and enjoy.
Yeah, that's been one of kind of my greatest joys of doing this, is creating these themed environments for people to inhabit and kind of making those as kind of cohesive with the instruments as possible. Like, that's been just hugely rewarding for us.
David also goes on to ask, where would you recommend starting for someone interested in learning to tech guitars? And I would tell you the same place that I started, which was with Dan Earlywine's Guitar Player Repair Guide. I read that shit cover to cover 4 or 5 times, and it is an exhaustive tome on the subject of guitar repair, wiring, neck resets, fret techniques, like all of that's in there. I highly recommend that book.
Kev McAvoy writes, very interested in understanding general economics of running a music shop. Our shop is a bit different than, I think, your traditional music shop in that we don't really do small items or accessories. Like, we want everyone to have those things and have access to those things, but we sell literally like 2 cables, a capo. If you come in asking for picks, we're just gonna give you picks. It's not where the money comes from. It comes from restoring instruments and using that resource with things that we own or consignment pieces, things that we know we can make the best they can be, and then putting them online or people coming through the door. And that's the main engine of the thing.
So that you would say the main money makers are the things on the wall and not so much strings, picks.
It kind of makes sense. It's like things that really excite us the most excite other people as well, and those tend to be the things that
we get excited, that comes out in the listing or when we're talking to people, and then it just leaves. And that's the beauty of it. It's connection. Okay, moving on. A lot of you asked questions about what were our favorite guitars to come in the shop, or what were guitars that we regretted selling, or ones that we should have bought for ourselves. And so I've got an answer for that. Do you have an answer for those?
I got a few, yeah.
All right. Guitar that I regret selling was my Gretsch Billy Bow, which doesn't seem, I think about that thing. I shouldn't have sold it, but it was the early days of the shop. It made a lot of sense. We got a really good price for it.
We had to sell everything.
Had to sell everything. We couldn't keep anything for ourselves and be selfish. We were building a business. It's not the kind of thing I usually go for, but my God, those Powertron pickups and the way it hung on a strap, it just looked so cool. I think I only ever got to play it once on stage before I sold it, and I absolutely regret leaving that guitar go into the hands of another player. Mike, what is the coolest guitar, or the guitar you should have bought, or the guitar you regret selling?
There's a couple. Right around when you had the Billy Bow, we had a one-owner 1954 ES 175 with a factory fixed arm Bigsby on it. Probably the one that really haunts me, though. We had, I think it's one of maybe 5 that exist. It's a 63 SG Custom cherry finish with factory nickel hardware. Truly, I've been so fortunate that over the years, I do maybe a guitar a year. I tend to hang on to something. You know, I let pieces go too, but I've gotten to kind of keep a lot of the ones that would otherwise cause me regret over the years. Troy Head asks, hope it's not too late to ask, what's your favorite vintage guitar shops to visit? The concentration of vintage shops in this city is kind of mind-blowing, not just for there are guitar shops, but for the quality of the shops that exist here. I mean, Emerald City Guitars is ubiquitous when it comes to the highest and craziest things you can possibly own, and you know, Trevor and Jay are lovely humans there. And then just, I think it was 6 months before we opened Guitar Bar, Frank Gross opened up Thunder Road.
Yeah, Thunder Road.
Just another amazing shop that's, you know, just kept going and gotten bigger and bigger and better. Now it's Seattle and Portland, which has one of my other absolute favorite shops, Strum, down there.
Strum is amazing. Oh my God, you can go into Strum and get a beer and chill at the counter and talk to people, and then play a Vibro King or play a kick-ass Telly built by Nacho. That's a cool shop. I can say that, you know, when I lived in the greater LA area, I would go up to Norm's and hang out with Mark. And that was always a lot of fun because they have just incredible stuff. When I'm in New York, I love to visit TR Crandall, and I love going to Main Drag. The cool thing about Seattle in particular is that it doesn't feel like yes, business-wise, you could say we're all competition, but it's not like that. It's not like a rivalry here. Everyone is just doing their own thing and being supportive, and the shops will sometimes trade back and forth when, like, if we have a guitar that doesn't move, that's a little out of our wheelhouse, we'll call Frank at Thunder Road and be like, hey, do you want this crazy Les Paul? We'll trade something back and forth. There's this like camaraderie and support network that's really lovely about Seattle in particular. I'm sure it's like that other places, but yeah, we're in this very unique, very cool place where there's not like cold, disdainful stares when we're like in the same restaurant. We walk in and I see Frank.
There's not enough room here for the both of us.
The Timber Owls asks, who walked through your doors that left you starstruck? Answer can't be me since I've yet to grace that threshold. David.
Oh, you.
If only we could list you. I know that one of my favorite experiences here at the shop, back in the old days in the garage, was meeting Bill Frisell for the first time, who's local.
Yeah, used to be.
Used to be. I don't know where he is now.
I think he's in New York?
Let's dox Bill Frisell. I'm sure he'd love that. We would often leave the garage door open in the summer months to get some airflow. And so he just walked by and he saw guitars outside and he stopped and very gingerly asked, what do you do here? And I was like, are you Bill? And if you've ever met Bill Frisell, he's like the sweetest, gentlest, most soft-spoken person in the world. It took him off guard, but he came in and loved everything he saw. And we eventually did like some guitar trading with him, and you know, we got a pile of broken DL4s from him that I remember.
That's where that came from.
Given his love of looping. You know what it is when you find a guitar player that really blows your mind, and that was me doing fretwork, listening to Bill Frisell run through the Thelonious Monk catalog on our couch. What about you, Mike? Who are some notables?
Yeah, I was hoping you were going to mention the Bill Frisell, and I remember when he walked in. I think maybe right after you shocked him.
I did shock.
He goes, "It's like a dream."
Anybody else is cool?
Yeah. So, see, so much of the interaction that happens is online, or we don't actually get to meet
That's
the people.
true, especially in current times. Like a lot of this back and forth is purely through messaging. So,
and a lot of times I'm not even here to get to meet the people. So like Stephen Malkmus was in a bit ago, and I really would have loved to have, just a little hey. Pete Townsend sent us a selfie a while back, which was kind of fun. I really loved that.
What?
Yeah. So he bought this Harmony H78 from us.
Oh,
and
cool.
then just like send a little photo of him with the guitar right after he got it. And I think the caption that he had on there was, "I'm just like Keith Richards." I loved that. One of my favorite like actual in-person ones here was when Jay Mascis came through.
Another soft-spoken gentleman.
Yeah, just a magical wizard of a man. We were sitting right over here, and he had been rehearsing at some place, some sort of secret bunker of Seattle guitars that had hundreds of things. I was trying to strike up something because it's Jay Mascis and he's here. And I'm like, oh, well, I guess this place with all these guitars, I'm thinking in my head, probably is not that exciting to you because there was this other vault of amazing things that you got to see. And then Jay just kind of turns to me and he goes, "But they weren't good guitars." And I loved that little moment with him. Was great.
Jay Mascis. I've never met, but I'm so happy that he came through. Oh, that's hilarious. W.M. Whitty asks, what is the quickest sale you've ever made from something arriving in store to someone walking out with it? At the last guitar show, we picked up a PVT40 bass in black with someone in mind, and I sent them a message on Instagram the minute that I had paid for it. It was like, hey, we got one of these. He said, I'll take it. So I don't know, like 30 seconds? Extraordinarily quick. I was very proud of myself because I hadn't been wheeling and dealing for a long time. What is your answer for the quickest sale?
Spill the tea, as the kids say.
I'm spilling the tea, sis.
So we had a Ram's Head Electro-Harmonix Big Muff in a pie-shaped box. I've never seen this box again.
Oh yeah!
But it's shaped like a piece of pie. And that, I think, 20 minutes online, that it ended. It's going to be in a book about the history of the Big Muff. So I'm really excited to see that show up. So knowing that it was rare enough that the person literally writing the book didn't have it, that I think is the quickest sale I can remember on anything. Cobb asks, a lot of Fender love from the two of you when it comes to amps. What's the Mike's favorite Marshall model?
My default answer is broadly any Marshall that doesn't have EL34s. I like the non-standard tubes. My 79 JMP that I adore has 6550s in it. Big, bold sounding amp, a lot of headroom, really great. But I really love like JCM 900 models from the 90s that had 5881s. I also love what I call the Weezer amp, the 30th anniversary LM model.
That's right.
That's a kick-ass amp. So I love those. And if we're going like classic Marshall, I like a super bass because you know me, I'm not so into treble. I like a nice girthy bottom end. This motion is not helping.
I like open back cabinets a lot. I like the airiness of that. The immediacy of a closed back is not my favorite thing.
He doesn't like the thud. He doesn't like the chunk.
I don't like the honesty of it. I like to...
It's revealed.
Yeah, it really is. So kind of lower mid-wattage, like I love a blues breaker. We've had a couple of insane JTM 45s through here, and I like a medium lower wattage.
I'm completely the opposite. If I'm not having my entire being shaken to the core by a Marshall amp, then I'm unhappy. I like volume. I like being enveloped in sound.
Agreed. Yes. Sense of trust when you're playing with people that are spectacular. I'm thinking of our Weezer band. This is what I'm thinking of right now.
So there's contexts in which that
exactly.
is a good thing.
For me.
I think it's interesting that we're opposite on cabs, that you're open back and I'm closed back all the way. I love that.
I am Trevor Barnes, who I may or may not know, asks, what's the absolute weirdest, most bizarre instrument to come through the shop?
We have a mellow bar.
That was my go-to as well.
Oh, it's gonna be a short answer. We have a mellow bar that we have talked about doing a video about, but neither of us can play it. So, no.
Yeah. In fact, why the instrument never found success or was even released, it's because nobody can play it.
So if you know a kick-ass mellow bar player who wants to come to Seattle and show us how it's done, please do.
Should we describe what a mellow bar is?
Yeah, let's tell the people what a mellow bar is.
So it was made by Mosrite, but not designed by Mosrite. It was a lap steel that's designed to be played standing. It's the keytar of lap steels. You have this guitar body that sits flat, slab, like Mosrite Venture's body, but then you have this whole plank that's 45 degrees up that's sitting on it. 10 strings, some of them are in courses, some of them aren't, and never released. Ended up in the hands of a lot of famous artists, but never actually commercially available.
Oh, yes!
This one's for you.
Our good friend Roy Orbitron asks, do you miss Tumblr? Yes, I do. That was a pretty fun website for a while. Yeah, Roy Orbitron, great band too. Check them out.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, now we're into the deep stuff. Now we're into the real questions where all will be revealed and alliances will be made and broken. Basset Hound Sound asks, favorite Star Trek romance? I will go first. I am 100% Vash and Picard. Absolutely, they belong together. And also, controversial take, I know, but Worf and Troy should have stayed that way. She should not have gone back to stupid Riker. Man, that romance starts budding in another of my favorite episodes called Parallels, wherein Worf is jumping through different parallel universes and is really like upset about cake. That's one of my favorite episodes ever. They get together because in one of the universes, they are a thing, and it continues throughout the rest of the series, which is not much. It's like, we're talking season 7. But that episode rules, and they were so good for each other. I have pins on my Star Trek jacket of them together.
That's kind of one of my favorites too.
Oh, you like Parallels?
I love that. I think my favorite bit of physical comedy in any of TNG is when Troy is sitting on Worf's bed and his head just comes around the corner
and he's looking and he's like,
yeah, and she's like, oh, counselor.
Oh, yes, commander.
Exactly, yeah, right.
It's a great episode. It makes me so sad every time Red Letter Media shits on that episode because I think it's one of the best.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they hate it.
Oh, I love that one.
Oh, I love that one. Anyway.
Miles O'Brien, Julian Bashir.
See, I'm a lot more in the Garrick Bashir camp. I think those two together.
Oh, I mean, it's a different relationship.
But that tension. Oh,
yeah.
That tension.
Cut it with a knife.
Plain, simple Garrick. Bashir and Garrick, 100%.
Okay.
Cowards. The writers were cowards.
Yeah, it was the Finn and Poe of its time.
Garrick and Bashir walked so Finn and Poe could run.
Todd asks, where do you source your inventory from? So this is a question that, it's probably the question I get asked most frequently because the inventory does change so much around here. The easy answer is we get our guitars from all over the world. Some people walk through the door, but we're doing a lot of long distance trades, a lot of long distance buys. We're not pulling all the guitars from Seattle and selling them back out to the rest of the world. We're bringing a lot of inventory here to the city. We work with buyers and consigners in Japan, second biggest guitar market in the world. There's so much there, so much variety and so much nuance, and so many things that I've never seen before, that's become a real engine for our inventory here. We're really grateful that people continue to see us as a place where we can, get top dollar and give them the best representation for their instruments. So that drives the business in a pretty significant way.
Our final question today comes from Kevin Vinyl. What's the most common riff you hear played by customers in the shop?
I think the one that is held on is Say It Ain't So.
You're probably hearing that from me.
There you go.
That's the only thing I know how to play.
But that one always seems to kind of hold on. Seven Nation Army had its minute. I think just because of the kind of shop that we are and the kind of clientele that we get, a lot of people they're not trying out the guitar for the first time when they're coming in here. They already kind of have developed their sound and their identity. So we get to hear a lot of really, really incredible playing.
Yeah.
There's this one guy that would come in that would play our Yngwie Strats, that would bring in his own rack head and just absolutely melt our faces in our amp room at a totally respectable volume. It was just the absolute best. So, I just love hearing people come in and do what they do.
And we're in Seattle, so you're gonna hear grunge riffs. People are gonna grab a Big Muff and go into the loud room and bash on power chords. So I don't know, we actually hear a really wide array of different genres in here. So
yeah, if there's a question within the question, play whatever you want. There's no riff shaming here.
Well, anyway, I think that about wraps it up.
Yeah, I hope you learned some things about the mics.
I hope we revealed all, and you heard the true confessions of guitar shop people.
So this is really fun. We might do another one of these, so more Star Wars related questions next time, maybe some Twilight Zone,
Thank you so much for being
great.
Here, coming back to the channel, and thanks for 10 whole years. I still can't believe it. Blows my mind.
Deeply grateful for your patronage of the Guitar Bar. It means so much to us. Thanks for sending in these questions.
Thanks so much for watching, and for more information on everything we do and everything we have available for purchase here at the shop, please go to mmguitarbar.com and stay tuned for more content.